Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Insight Show. I am Reverend Tiffany White, Sage Woman, and I am very happy to be with each and every one of you this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. Wherever you are, it's beautiful, no matter what the weather is. Remember, we must look at all aspects of something, even if it seems gloomy, raining, or kind of cloudy. The sun is still out, it's just behind the cloud. Let's try to look for the good in everything, all right? And that balance. All right, well, again, thank you, everyone. If you're joining me live, welcome. You can chat with other people in the chat room. If you're viewing this from the True Psychics Network channel on Ustream, there is on the right-hand side a box with 3 tabs. It says videos, social stream, and chat. You click on the chat, you will be able to chat with others that are viewing the show live, and also with myself. I will be able to see that chat as well. So it's a way to communicate with me, as if you have a question or if there's something you would like to share, that would be great. Okay, so it's beautiful, beautiful energies. We still have some very high energies left from the full moon and that solar eclipse that had taken place, and then the spring equinox too. Yay! Even though some may question it, but let's look. It's not going to be full force spring. Everything is kind of gradual, right? Just now we are starting to, snow is melting. We can see the ground again. So nice to see grass, even if the grass is a little brown. But we're seeing crocuses come up. We're seeing flowers pop up. And that should give you so much hope and acknowledge and validate that spring is here. Maybe not to the degree of spring that you want, but it has arrived. And my dogs have definitely let me know that spring has arrived because they have been shedding. So your pets will let you know. You can just tell. Those that like to go out into nature, we know when spring is here. And it's not by a date on the calendar, quite honestly. It's, nature has its own moods, so to speak. Oh, anyway, I just wanted to share with everyone that this show is brought to you by True Psychics Network TV and by True Psychics Network. My personal website is whitesagewoman.com. So I encourage you to check out not only my personal website, but the True Psychics Network website as well. Those of you who watch the show and are avid viewers know that I like to start off with a little bit of numerology. Just sets it up, lets you see what kind of energies are favorable for the day. And it doesn't mean that, okay, this is what's going on with me today. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. It's just showing you the energies that you can tap into if you choose to. All right, it's the energies that are strong. So today is March 24th, 2015. March is a number 3 month. That's easy. The whole point in numerology is to take numbers down to a single digit between 1 and 9. So we look at the date, the 24th. We're going to add 2 plus 4 together is 6. And then 2015 is an 8 year. This is an 8 vibrational year. And how did we get that? Looking at 2015, 2 plus 0 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then 3 plus 5 is 8. So we have 3 plus 6 plus 8. And if you add all that up together, you should get 17. And then 1 plus 7 is 8. So today is an 8 vibrational day, which is the same type of vibration for this year. So it's not only the day, but the year. So, wow. Highly charged. I can tell you right now, highly energetically charged day. And it absolutely is. Your personal power, your spiritual power, your power is on the rise. And you may find yourself feeling more liberated and dynamic and generous than normal. The number 8 poses a great ability to make things happen. So we tell everybody this year is a happening year. Let me tell you, we are moving and shaking and making things happen this year. All right. Keep in mind the needs of others, and you will gain much benefit from new business undertakings or personal relationships. Today is a gift of gifts and rewards, and friends will provide comfort and inspiration. Very beautiful. And so it's as many of us are really tapping into the tapping into and embracing and manifesting abundance and prosperity. Don't forget that the when you are receiving, to give. All right, and that's the whole beautiful two-way street. It's one way, it's one road, but we have to not separate it and have to honor both lanes, and so to speak, as far as the street analogy. But and I find people that the more they give, the more they receive, the more they give, and vice versa. It's just a beautiful, beautiful loop. Now, that doesn't also mean that you have to give away all your possessions or give away things just to receive something. I'm talking about just don't hold on to anything that doesn't serve you anymore. We hold on to too much things, don't we? You can donate. Donate money, donate time, and volunteering. Just it's in getting rid of things clothes that you don't wear anymore. How many here's another one too, is possessions that you don't display but you have stuck in a closet, in an attic, in a basement. All right. And that kind of thing. So it you can have those types of things happen into where I'm sorry, I was kind of distracted. But get rid of it. How many of you maybe have seen the show Hoarders? And we're going to talk about that, being an empath. Immediately see what's going on with the person health-wise and how it has reflected back to the home, and then the home reflecting back to the health, and it's just mirroring each other, the home and the space. And so let me see. Let me just tell everyone we are live. You might have to refresh your page, but yeah, I've got all signals go. We're live, so anyway, so the number for today is number 8, and that's also, like I said, the number 8 vibration for the year as well. So very powerful day. Speaking of numerology, there is in the True Psychics Network magazine, on the True Psychics Network website, there is a UK numerologist, and she every day she has the energies for the day, and she posts in that as well. So it's really beautiful, and you can see where she's tapping into the beautiful energies of the day and sharing with everyone and how we can all relate to it. So I encourage you to check out the True Psychics Network magazine. Also, while you're on that True Psychics Network website, check out the weekly horoscopes. This week they were channeled by Reverend Pamela Cummings. So, and they're actually really beautiful. See what energies are favorable for you this week. So thank you. I apologize again for the little distraction. Just wanted to make sure everyone can see the show now. I think somebody was waiting for the show and they were like, is it going to start? It's like, refresh your page. Sometimes we have to do that with technology, right? If it freezes, you don't hear me, try refreshing your page first. I have, like I said, all systems go on this side, so... Hey, we're going to get through this. It's fine. It's all good. All right. The gemstone and crystal message for this week is red goldstone. Red goldstone. All right. Red goldstone is a stone of courage and spiritual direction. It stimulates physical and spiritual energies for grounding and balancing. Very nice. Red goldstone. If you haven't seen it, just go into your internet browser and type in red goldstone in the search engines and see what comes up, and you can see it. It's very beautiful. It's very powerful for grounding and balancing. And also the power animal, the power animal message, the spirit power animal, is toad. A toad! Now, some people think that toads and frogs are the same thing, which no, toads are different. They do have their characteristics. If they come from the same family, they have their own personalities and characteristics. The toad represents the connection to altered states of consciousness. Yeah, so no, I'm not encouraging everyone to go out there and lick a toad. We can get to that within our own meditation, within our own relaxed state, our own relaxed way of being. So, connection to altered states. And if we're going within, why would you use something without a view to alter that state? Now, I know our ancestors have, maybe, but not to the degree that we do now. You don't want to ever numb yourself to where you can't feel anything. It's just, it was just to help. Just a little relax and tune in and listen. You'll be surprised, what can make people, and it's kind of interesting, whether, those that, okay, so they're going to smoke some marijuana, or they have some kind of hallucinogenic drug that they want to take, and okay, yes, I'm not going to say anything smoking against smoking marijuana, because it does help alleviate pain, but it's better to ingest it, and I'm talking about like the oils are so much more powerful, and you can heal so much faster. But understand that it takes you to that altered state. And so both like a shot of whiskey or a shot of, something. Now, does that take you to the altered state, or does all these things I've just mentioned relax you, that you open up and are able to get to this altered state of consciousness? So you can get to it, though, quite honestly, all on your own. Okay, so you just keep working with it, and so we all like to have certain tools. I like to hold crystals, and so it's when I meditate or give messages, and so it's to each their own, whatever works for you, right? As long as it's not harming you or anyone else. All right, a toad also represents and symbolizes Earth. Also camouflages poison. You've seen if you like the poisonous toads, seen pictures of poisonous toads, they are so very beautiful, and they are also probably the most poisonous ones. All right. Which also, to me, represents boundaries, because just because something is pretty or appealing or attracting doesn't mean that you invade its space or you invade its boundary and have to touch it or go up to it or make it feel uncomfortable or challenged in any way, shape, or form. And so it's to me, camouflaging poison shows that we have to honor our boundaries. All right? Otherwise, you kind of strike. And we release some sort of venom, right? All right. And also, the toad represents a shift and change in your abundance. And it's a happy, balanced change. And it also symbolizes long life. This is why you see a lot of this symbology, the toad, why you see a lot of it on, or I should say in feng shui and in Asian type of decorations. There's frog statues, maybe with a Chinese coin sticking out of the mouth, but there is always some sort of representation that way with wealth, long life, prosperity. So I hope that helps. So anyway, let me see. I'm getting all sorts of messages here. I just want to see, making sure that we are all good. I think some people are having some sort of issues. I'm watching the show live, but those watching it in the archives, you don't have any problems because I know that it's working. Oh, all right. So the topic today, empaths, and are you an empath? Are you empathic? Empathy? Do you have empathy? We all are born this way as empaths, intuitives, and empathetic. Somewhere along the line, whether it's through brainwashing society, the way we're treated, something changes, can change us. And I like to thank a viewer turned friend, friend on Facebook, but a viewer, Lauren, Laurel, who had suggested that I discuss about empaths. Now, I did talk about empaths on one of my shows, and I had to research it. It was actually several years ago. It was on September 17th, 2013. And for those of you who want to check that out, the archives would be on YouTube, on True Psychics Network channel. You can find it would be last season, season 3, episode 11. And this show, for those who are curious, is season 4, episode 23. Okay, so just for those that want to keep track, but it will say it on the video as well. Okay, so thank you for the suggestion to let's talk about this again. And since that time, I have channeled a psychic medium awakening and development course that my guides and master teachers and all those that are in my guide circle, or those that I communicate with in spirit, it suggested that I write my own course and that it would help me, and so I did. And this is actually part of chapter 1, because I feel like it's important to start off with immediately understanding who you are. And so we start off with the signs that you're an empath. I'm going to read and share with you what's in my course, and then I'm going to read another great article as well that goes into great detail. I am detailed, but I find that I ask my guides for a shortcut. I ask for the most simplest way, and this is how they communicate anyway, in very simple terms. And I find that sometimes I do maybe have to go into some detail on some things if it's too broad, but they usually are very good with their communicating and getting their point across. So, and me understanding the message. So, all right. Again, this is part of my course, the Psychic Medium Awakening and Development course. Signs that you're an empath. And what is an empath? A lot of people hear empath, intuitive. Is it the same thing? And yes, to a certain degree, everyone can be intuitive, but empaths feel. An empath is someone who feels what other people are feeling. Being an empath means you were born with the ability to enter someone else's aura or luminous energy field and explore another person's feelings and experience of life on a very intimate level. 90% of the time, this is done unconsciously. We're unconsciously aware that this is happening. On the upside, you know what it feels like to be another person. So you're often very compassionate towards others, can relate to them very easily. Empathy is a psychic gift, a divine gift, and we can use it to read, to understand other people. On the downside, well, there are lots of downsides until you learn to get empathy under command. One of the downsides is that you are like a sponge and full of other people's emotions and the consciousness, the conscious and unconscious ones. All right, the conscious and unconscious emotions. All right, and it can get very tiring. You can feel drained. Plenty of people are empathetic and don't even realize it. When that is the case for you, you always have the feeling that you're weird or that you have sensitivity issues that other people don't have. But you're not always sure what they are. Let's see if you can relate to the following signs of an unaware empath. All right, here it is. See if you can relate to any of these. You feel the world suffering on a large scale and wishing you could do something to help. Ironically, this makes you less equipped to help because you feel overwhelmed. You're so overwhelmed that you do nothing. All right, because it bogs you down with this overwhelming. It's just so heavy. All right. Or you're finding it difficult to watch the news or distressing images because you feel the pain of the being that you're watching as if you are them. I'm talking all beings, whether it's humans, animals, earth, etc. All living beings. We all are living beings. Maybe finding it difficult to fully be present to yourself and your own feelings when conversing with other people. This is because you're busy exploring their aura and responses to life and not your own. And the lines, let me just say, the auras gets blurred. There's a blurring that happens. You can't distinguish anymore who's whose. What's yours? Who's this other person? All right? And you're exploring them so much and not your own. You will start to probably feel ungrounded, dizzy, and sometimes sick to your stomach if you don't like the energy you're picking up on. All right? You ever done that? And this also is going into certain buildings and certain establishments or certain stores you can't go into because you feel that same way. You get bombarded and you get dizzy, you get sick, and it's like, I got to leave here. Try grounding yourself first if it's something that you just can't easily leave. Ground first. I always ground before I even go into these buildings so that I don't have to worry about it sidetracking me or sideswiping me, but continuously make sure that you're grounded once you enter establishments like that or around people that you know are just going to do this to you. All right. Here's another sign. Shyness. Empathy can make you somewhat self-conscious of your very aware, as you are very aware of the effect your words have on another person and what they're thinking and feeling in response. All right, so it can be shy. Some can be shy. Have you drinking enough water? Are you hydrating? Stay hydrated. Okay. You also have a tendency to say yes to the requests and demands of other people, almost as a reflex. Instantaneously, you're answering without thinking about whether you actually want to or not. When you're so immersed in another person's experience of life and what they need, how can you say no? It's only afterwards that you realize you forgot yourself and your own needs. This is how you can overwhelm yourself by filling that plate too high. And if you didn't say, hold on, I'll get back with you on that. And you're doing too much, and even some things maybe that's not for your personal highest and greatest. All right. And so it's okay to say no. And a lot of people have a hard time saying no who are empaths. All right. How about a general tendency, again, to put your needs last or serve others at your own expense. A liking for distance in relationships and for solitude. I know personally this happens. If I feel bogged down if I feel and I'm very sensitive to energy, especially as a healer as well. And most empaths are healer. They're healing on some level, whether they realize it or not. If I get overwhelmed with someone trying to give me too much energy, or I feel their energy, it can really bog you down. And there's times when I just need, I need to divert that energy away from me for a bit. All right. This occurs because an empath, intimacy and closeness is your default. But when you don't know how to protect yourself from exploring others' auras, you need some space on your own where you aren't around other people. Establishing healthy boundaries is very, very necessary, and it's very okay. And you may find some friends attack you or get upset at you and just like, I haven't heard from you in days, or I haven't heard from you in weeks, and I haven't. Okay. It's okay. I'm here. And this can be family, this can be friends, and it's okay to take a break and have that solitude. Really, it is. All right, feeling an affinity with the animal and plant kingdom. You can get a feel for how other species, other beings experience life, and you are able to relate to the animals, plants, and nature on a very deep level. Absolutely. Feeling responsible for how other people feel and going out of your way to help them to feel better, even when it doesn't serve you. After all, you feel their emotions so keenly. This is a part of establishing healthy boundaries. Some people don't want your help. This is the biggest challenge, I would say it can be, is those that don't want your help put out an SOS in their aura. And empaths, those that are very sensitive, the healers, we hear it and feel it. Now, doesn't mean you always have to step forward and try to help this person, especially if they don't want help. All right? So this is why you have to respect their boundaries as well. Just, they might not, so, be conscious that they're putting out this SOS, their soul is. All right? Because they've got a struggle. No, immediately there's a struggle within them between their mind and their soul, or their sacred heart center, their heart chakra. There's a struggle going on within them. And you don't want to get caught in the middle of that struggle, because they will turn and attack you. All right? So, okay, kudos. You may want to help, but be careful. You can't help everyone. All right? There's a tendency to let relationships and friendships get too heavy and too close too fast. Too fast, and to where feelings get misunderstood. When you connect heart to heart with someone, it's a very euphoric, it's a very beautiful, beautiful feeling. And especially now we're meeting a lot of people from our past lives, especially those of us who have had a lot of past lives, and we come back and my heart remembers you. Doesn't mean that you're falling in love with this person, not like love relationship wise, but that love vibration, we can feel that with everyone. We haven't been taught that. We have been taught that, you can love your whole family and you're going to love them differently, but you can only save that deep, deep love for the person you're going to be in a relationship with. No. You can have that deep love for every person in your life. Doesn't mean you have to act out on it. Doesn't mean that's when you know you're in that oneness zone, because you just love everyone, love every being. And you're just being the love that you are. Some people may think that you're naive. There's some that are, but not everyone who is so open to love like that is naive. All right? Now, there's a strange tendency to feel aches and pains only around certain people. You are feeling what's going on with someone else. I used to do this a lot. I could, when I was sitting in development circle at a spiritualist church with a bunch of mediums, with other mediums, we were in development, and spirit would come forward, and even though I couldn't see as sharp as other people could see around me, because each medium, each psychic, you have different channels or different abilities. that you can tap into, and it's okay. We shouldn't compare to each other. It's not one person doing it more correct than the other person. That's not it at all. All right? So, but me, my strong point was that I could feel this person's pain and what they were going through. And so I shared that with the group, and the person that knew the spirit that had come forward agrees. And yes, now I know who it is, because they were confused between it could be this person or that person. But as soon as I was able to tune in and say, okay, this is what happened, this is how this person feel, and was also able to relive the death for them. This person drowned. So I'm stating, I'm in the water. I can't breathe. I really felt like I couldn't breathe. But as soon as you share that, you release it. Don't hold on to stuff like that. And they were very good, because afterwards they wanted to make sure, okay, Tiffany, you're grounded, you okay, you released all of that. I'm like, yep, I totally, I learned that a long time ago, is not to hold on to that type of pain. And maybe it was because I talked about this before, about with growing up with my mother having cancer and her whole ordeal with that. So, my hair's sticking up. Sorry. Crazy hair day. It's very windy here in Connecticut, so my hair is just like, you get it all pretty and you go outside and it's like, forget it. Anyway, all right. Another symptom or another sign of being an empath: emotional and over-identification with characters in novels, plays, and movies. It doesn't matter that they're not real characters. You can still feel how they felt. This is a sign, I always say, of a great actor or actress, when you really get pulled into that role, and wow, they're really good because I'm feeling it. All right. A tendency to forget to have fun and lighten up. That's a big one. We have to have fun and lighten up. Empaths are usually deeply spiritual people, simply because the gift of empathy allows you to experience oneness. This in turn gives you an expanded perspective on other people and on life. If you can relate to these signs, be sure that you command whose emotions you feel and explore. Instead of automatically exploring the aura or luminous energy field of most of the people you meet, you can choose whether you want to explore the connection or not. And sometimes when you're in a public place, you just start getting information, and I'll tell my guides, oh, that's TMI. Really? I don't need to know that. They're not asking me for help. There's nothing I'm going to do with this information. I really don't want to know all that. But sometimes you just, it's like, okay, I'm just allowing it to happen. Wait, let it pass. Okay, that's fine, whatever. But I don't act out on it. And I don't approach the person and, oh, I know all this about you. My goodness. Kidding me? The choice is whether you want to focus on the person's energy or not. When we choose not to focus in on someone or something, we shouldn't ignore it, but just redirect your focus of energy and be aware of your surroundings. It's funny because my husband and my sons know me so well. We go out in public, if we go out to eat or go somewhere, or just around others, doesn't matter. They're watching me. And as soon as I start to zone out, they call it, there's a look that I have, and I start to zone out. And then, husband will lean forward and go, knock it off. It's like, oh. It's like, come back. You're getting pulled into somebody's energy. Oh, yeah, thanks. Thanks for throwing the lifeline. But it's great, that they honor who I am. My family honors who I am, and it's like, okay, please. My sons too, the same thing. They're just like, Mom, please knock it off. But yet they do the same thing too, which is really funny. So we all kind of like help each other. So it's cute. All right, so there was a really great article that was shared with me, and I actually, if you take the my psychic medium awakening and development course, I will send this to you as well. I'd like to, if I find articles that really resonate, that I resonate with and feel like you would too, I share them as well. Now, they're not part of the course per se because it's somebody else's information, but I will share this with you and give their bio and about the author. Everything is included because it's their materials that I'm just sharing. And I think it's important we all share and help each other, right? So this is a great article that I found online. Or actually, someone found it, shared it with me, and that was the whole pretense for this topic of the show today. This is by the author Randy Fine, Fine, Randy Fine, Randi Fine, and I'll give her website out after I read this. And this is quite lengthy. This is very detailed, but sometimes we have to have the right language, we have to have the right words in order for it to register with you. All right, so I went over all the signs. If you answered yes to any of those or could relate to any of those that I had read off, then hey, guess what, you're an empath. All right, empaths are people who are highly sensitive to the energy and emotions of people, animals, and sometimes even the spiritual imprints that exist around them. Spiritual imprints. This is the people some people call haunted places. Every place has a history and leaves a signature behind, so to speak, an energetic signature, and you can pick up on that. All right, don't let that scare you. It happens. You can sometimes people can go to a certain place and know the history of it. They just start spitting it out, or they just start seeing it play out in their mind's eye, or maybe they just know what happens here, regardless if it matches what's in the history book or not, because I guarantee you that most of what's in our history book is incorrect and is wrong. All right, because only established individuals at one time could you had to be of a certain stature and where you were politically within society, where you allowed to write and to share any type of things, and definitely record a history, so to speak. All right, anything they didn't want recorded, I'm sure, was destroyed. So anyway, we can, and it's fun to go into a place, and I would have that happen a lot. I would drive around, I could tell, oh my gosh, this was at one time a high mafia place. And of course I was in certain areas of New York, or just even in traveling, and I'm like, oh, but even in my hometown of Virginia Beach, I started seeing histories of some things. And so I would just, and I would just share this whole story that had unfolded. And it sounds like you're this great storyteller, or like, what's going on? But it's truly fascinating. Some things you wish you didn't tap into or know, and other things are like, oh, that's all right. Okay, whatever. But no, anyway, it's pretty cool. The extreme sensitivity applies to familiar as well as unfamiliar people who are intimately close with total strangers. There's people feel comfortable with us. Strangers come up and just start telling their whole life story. We don't even know who they are. All right, they find our energy safe. Just as with every other healthy-minded individual, empaths have the ability to empathize with whom they are interacting. To emphasize, like empathy, have empathy with those that they're interacting with. We are able to relate to how others feel and understand and what they are experiencing. What sets empaths apart is our higher than average level of empathy and the ease at which we can connect to the feelings of others and the range within which we can do it. And where others experience feeling of empathy, they are cued by interacting with others. Empaths do not always have that. We do not rely on the physical senses of sight, hearing, or touch, or clues from our interactions with others to pick up on the emotions and energies around us. We can feel and internalize emotions from people near and far, and like I said, even the imprints. All right? So it doesn't matter. You don't have to see them to feel them. That's what that means, very simply. All of that. Crowded places, and we talked about this, such as shopping malls, supermarkets, stadiums, movie theaters, can overwhelm the senses of the empath. And right now, each of you are probably thinking about a time, oh, I remember when I went to the store and the movie theater and this happened. It's probably triggering some experiences for you that, and hopefully this is great validation for you. So these type of emotions can feel the empath with uncomfortable emotions that feel as if it's your own, picked up from all the energies around you. Environments with depression and with depressive, very low energy, such as nursing homes, assisted living facilities, and hospitals, can cause feelings of depression, physical maladies, and fatigue with the empath. This is why I personally, and there's another reason with hospitals and nursing homes, they're portals. All right, well, with hospitals, you have coming in, spirit coming in, the birthing area, and those going out. So hospice, if they're located in the hospital, right? So hospice is right there. So in and out, in and out. You have that whole exchange going on there. Nursing homes, though, is mostly just out. And so that can be very, very depressing for a lot. Good healing water. All right. Now, the author states it. Thrift stores, consignment shops, antique stores, places that carry the residual energy of previous owners can be very draining for empaths, as can used cars or pre-owned houses. Now, this is again the author's quote here. I love antiques, but I have had to stop frequenting these types of shops because they zap my already low energy that may constantly being depleted by the many places I already have in my home. I'm not willing to part with the antiques, so we just have to find a way to live together. I'm going to pause right here from her article. And I can understand and relate exactly what she's talking about, but we don't have to become a victim of that either. All right? So, what if you cleanse your space, your sacred space? You don't have to worry about that. I love going to thrift stores. I love going to places like that. Antique shopping, but in places where you don't have to pay those antique prices. Because, sometimes you see an antique store, you go in there, and it's just, the price is marked up at least $100 just because they have an antique sign outside. All right? So I like going into thrift places and places that you can find antiques that, and treasures that most people, they just don't care about anymore. They don't know what they have or what. That's, to me, treasure hunting. All right. And you can, yes, read the energy. Okay, that's great. The energy of a particular material item that was not going to, the item is not evil. That's insane. So bring it home, as I do with anything that I bring home new, whether it's brand new and whether it's old, antique, I smudge it and clear that energy. And it's just a balancing. Okay, if there's a lot of negative with it, let's put some light to it, make it balanced. If there's a lot of good, feel-good stuff, let's just leave it just like it is. Because I tell you, new stuff, I can feel if there's slave labor involved. Hello? This was not made under good pretenses. I don't want this. All right? Going into, I personally, this is why I don't mind thrift places too, because the clothes have been laundered. Going into a mall, into a new store or a huge department store, all the dyes in the clothes, these chemicals, that alone can make me run out of the store. It's overwhelming. I can smell it. It's just, ugh, no. All right? New homes. If you don't think for one moment that the construction of that new home didn't stir up some spirits, hello, that's crazy. So they're really, the whole thing between new and old, and I like things that do have an energetic imprint on it. It tells their story. I think it's fine. And each thing has an energetic imprint. If it is brand new, you're going to feel who made it or how many people had a hand in it. Okay? So, and that's all you have to do is balance these items, the homes, the yards, the cars. I wouldn't buy a new car. We only own used cars. The depreciation factor, and quite honestly, I want a car, not a computer. I don't want computers in my car. I don't want a car that can be controlled by a master switch of shutting down. OnStar. Yeah, right. Please. Might as well just, give your freedoms away right now. You let someone else control. They can shut your car down while you're driving. All of this. Please. Nope. Not doing it. Yank that computer right on out. So, no. We got to be careful. Technology is great, but don't ever give somebody an opportunity to control you. All right. Empaths, and by staying in the command position, that's much higher, by the way. All right. Empaths are avid seekers of solutions, answers, and knowledge. We are deep thinkers and studiers. Believers that there is a solution to every problem, and uncomfortable and frustrated until we find it. All right. It's just that great, we feel like we're on this great mission of searching who we are. We frequently experience synchronicities and phenomena that occur in everyone's life, but because we are more connected than most people to the supernatural world, we are more easily recognize these coincidences as signposts of guidance. Absolutely true. And you have to be careful too. You have your spiritual friends you can be around. There's very few left who aren't spiritual. Sometimes there's some family members who maybe not be on board. But I remember when I would express myself again, open up and express myself, and express these beautiful coincidences and synchronicities, it was always responded with a scientific approach. Oh, well, it's really probably just this. Yeah, whatever. No, I know that's my grandfather flickering the lights. I know we don't have an electrical issue. That's what I mean. Of course, you want to check and make sure that you don't have an electrical issue. But you know, oh, well, I've been thinking about him all day, so it makes sense. And now he's just letting us know that he's here. And that occurrence is isolated. That's what I'm talking about, is we all have these beautiful way you find pennies or coins and, gifts from heaven. Don't debate it and talk out the whole beauty of it, because it really is a gift. All right. Empaths have great interest in metaphysics, liking having experienced paranormal experiences of their own. Whether it be near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, psychic ability, or a connection with those who have crossed over to the other side, we easily incorporate this unseen reality into our physical experience without question. We naturally know that these things are so without requiring any rational explanation. Well, let me give a scientific explanation. Nope. You could, but I won't listen. No, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. All right. We have with this natural ability to tap into universal energy and to heal others. Empaths tend to gravitate toward work in the fields of holistic therapies and energy work. Our sensitivity allows us to feel the emotions of others, influence their bodies and minds, and create harmony within them. In order to do that, empaths must learn ways to keep the energy of others from becoming their own. And it's not, and here's why I say separation is always bad. It's not a separation, but a recognition of where one soul begins and another soul and where our soul begins and ends, so to speak, and then where there's someone else. And when our auras are so close together, sometimes you cannot see that and understand that. But when you understand the energy vibration, the soul signature of each person, you are able to recognize, and that is how you're able to set healthy boundaries. It's not separate, but it's just a recognition. Okay. Empaths are usually non-violent and non-aggressive people who love peaceful and harmonious environments. Disharmony makes us uncomfortable. We will do everything we can to avoid it. If and when we are confronted with turbulence, we will take on the role of peacemaker or mediator, and will work towards a resolution as quickly as possible. I have personally played the role of peacemaker and mediator with family and friends ever since I was little, ever since I was a child, and most of you can relate to that. All right. We are painfully sensitive to violence, cruelty, and tragedy, whether real or dramatically acted out. Watching it on the television, in the movies, or reading about anything that involves the physical or emotional suffering of another feels very unbearable. The suffering of people, children, or animals becomes our own suffering. We fully identify with it and feel it. There are many things I cannot watch on TV without becoming extremely depressed. And it's not just on TV now. I mean, I don't watch TV. A whole lot of it. I'll record my shows and go back and watch later. But social medias and people that share things, and it's because they want to get the truth out there. This is what's going on. Trust me, empaths already know. We can feel, sitting in meditation and feeling what's going on with the world. We got it already. We don't need to see it. We've already felt it and are feeling it every day. All right? And, but I will quickly scroll through or change a channel or do something like that if something comes on and I start to internalize the sufferings of other beings. All right. Empaths connect deeply to animals of all species. We resonate with their energies, love their pureness, and highly value their unconditional love. And a lot of times growing up and even in adulthood, empaths prefer the company of animals over the company of humans, usually having a pet or several pets of their own. Now, the author goes on to talk about this is why she's a vegan or a vegetarian, because she can feel the vibrations of the animals, of the meat that we eat. We have a clear sense of animals' fear and suffering. Here's the thing. Most empaths, say there's different vibrations or different levels of empaths. If you cannot feel a plant, you're not going to understand. I feel it all. So I can feel and know the pain and suffering or how the animal's life ended and how the plant's life ended. What am I supposed to do if I can't eat veggies, fruits, or meat? What is left for me? Nothing. All right? Nothing. So I admire that they feel that. I understand what they're feeling. And if they want to do it, that's fine. The thing is that, I mean, if you're brought up and it's a religious thing, you're brought up with it, hey, if you're doing it just because you don't want to feel their pain and suffering is a part of everyday life right now. All right? There is a constant death and rebirth that happens within our universe. Always. What do? We have to do what I've always said. Bless, cleanse. There's a reason why our ancestors said blessings. Do you say a dinner blessing anymore? Bless your food. Chefs. My dad, when he cooked, my dad was the cook in the family. He kicked everyone out of the kitchen so he could bless the food. And he didn't want the energies, though. He didn't want anyone's bad mood disrupting and creating disharmony within the food as he was blessing. So it was an off zone, we couldn't go into the kitchen. It was off limits until dinner was done. And sitting at the table, the very first thing was giving blessing. And then we could speak. But I always thought, oh, my dad is so strict. But I get it now. I totally understand what he was doing. He was blessing as he cooked the food, giving gratitude. Do you know that when you say thank you to a tree before it's cut down, you let the tree know what's going to happen? That's all it wants. It's gratitude, is recognition. Thank you for having a role on this earth plane. How'd you like it if you died and no one even cared, noticed, didn't give you a funeral, nothing? You were just tossed in the trash. How would that make you feel? Well, how do you think every other living being feels? And we do this constantly to nature. Hello? Don't tell me you're an empath if you can't get to that level. Let's get there. Because then you'll start to see the big picture. Let's bless these animals. Let's bless the land. Let's bless, the gardens, the gardener, everyone that touched that food. And let me tell you, by blessing the animal, you heal their death. You heal that sacrifice. Thank you for sacrificing. Thank you. And look at the animal kingdom. There are sacrifices. And animals having to survive and take down another animal, they use every part of that animal. Just like humans do. They use the parts that they need. What they don't need, then we have another group of animals that come in, the scavengers, and clean up. Look at how nature cleans up. There's nothing left. It feeds everyone, and it feeds so many people. All right? So these things are going, I'm going to say slaughterhouses are going to take place whether you contribute to it or not. All right, so we might as well be involved by blessing. Bless, bless, bless. Give gratitude. Heal, and be grateful for the sacrifice. You can absolutely do that. All right, and be more careful of what you are buying. Grass-fed, making sure that the animals are treated with respect. Okay, so that's how we can make a difference. But by avoiding it, that doesn't help. Where's your energy to help heal? All right? Empaths feel deeply, so deeply, and tend to be nurturing. We often work as volunteers, most of us do, with passionately dedication, and we dedicate our time in helping all beings, whether it's animals, children, others in need, or the environment. We are excellent listeners who are truly interested in the happiness and welfare of others. All right? Empaths require truthfulness in others and in ourselves. We feel terribly uncomfortable with those who perceive to be lying to us, who try to manipulate us or act phony. We see it immediately. We do not like masks. All right? And we are generally very tolerable people. We absolutely cannot tolerate the unnecessary drama, egotistical behavior, or physical centeredness, especially that of narcissists. We cannot tolerate negativity in others, especially judgment and jealousy, because these attitudes immediately drain our energy. We don't even lie to ourselves, nor can we pretend to enjoy things that we don't enjoy, whether it involves social activities or our work. Those who lie, I'm miserable at my job. Oh, I'm so happy. That's a lie. Acknowledge you're not happy. Move forward to make yourself happy. Maybe get out of that environment. You don't have to stay there. Who says you have to stay there? All right? So we can be easygoing and happy one minute and miserable the next without any logical transition. When this happens, realize you've just tapped into somebody else's energy. Okay? Because you can feel like you're bipolar. You can suddenly feel like you are have a chemical imbalance. No, it's an energetic imbalance because you immediately have tapped into or feel somebody else. All right? And here's something that's really interesting. I see we're running out of time here, but I can go as long as I want. I'm the producer. So, all right. Another thing that makes empaths very unhappy is restrictions. I absolutely don't like restrictions, as if you couldn't tell. Empaths are free spirits who must have their freedom of movement and expression. We feel imprisoned by control and by rules that are too rigid or that we do not believe in, and even routines. Many of our life experiences have been daring or adventurous. We have a great need to experience the true pulse of life, whether it's good or bad. And having had these various life experiences, we have knowledge on a wide range of topics. This often gives us the appearance of what we're wise to others, though we usually are quiet about our achievements unless asked. We are more comfortable pointing out the achievements and attributions of others. And absolutely like to do that. I'd rather, hey, I'm reading this lady's article. No, let's point it out. We're all here to help each other. I really don't like the spotlight, personally. For me to have my own show is a huge step for me, spiritually. But I had to recognize that, hey, we need you to teach, do some spiritual teaching. Me? Come on, we all are here to teach and to learn and to grow and to help each other. All right. And we do help each other as we do that, as we grow and spiritually expand our awareness. We are helping others as well. All right. Empaths exude a deep level of warmth and compassion that draws others to them. We talked about this. Other beings bond to us very quickly. Our deepest mutual connections are those who are like us, those who get us, and those who can be expressive, open, and frank with it. They'll tell you the truth, whether you can handle it or not. And we're talking about the divine truth here. That's the only truth there is. Lies you tell yourself is not the truth. We can form lasting friendships with those who are not like us, but we'll always feel as if it's an element. We'll always feel like there's something missing in the relationship. There's an element that's missing. But also, too, though, know this, and as a healer, we know what that element is, and we know that we have to be patient with that person and let them figure out what's missing. And because you just can't tell some people. They don't like to hear it again, that divine truth being exposed. They have to come upon it themselves, and it's their idea. Oh, now I'm gonna fix it and change it, right? Empaths have difficulty staying focused on things that do not stimulate their mind. Actually, exact to stimulate your senses. We are daydreamers who get bored or distracted easily. When we are not stimulated, our minds will go off to other places, sometimes each detached from a physical reality. And that is so true. All right. So we have been taught to live in duality. There really isn't duality. There is a oneness. There's aspects to this oneness, but we shouldn't separate them. Empaths physically exist in the dense, dark world filled with negativity and lower energy on this earth plane and even within us. But we mentally exist in the light, the pure high energy, the high energy vibrations of the world of spirit. All right. So we have staying grounded. You must. It's hard to stay grounded because we understand the freedom of the alternative world, but we must stay grounded because that is the way that we complete our earthly missions. We must complete our earthly missions. And we know this. Whatever symbol you want to use for balance, for being grounded. For me personally, the tree of life automatically just grounds. It could be anything. It could be just holding a certain gemstone or crystal, whatever works for you, because we all are unique and individual and have our own things that help us, whether spiritual tools or techniques. And just this is the whole thing of the awareness of getting to know who you are. Know thyself. Know who you are. Who you truly are. Not who you're told you are by others. Not others, impressions on who you should be in the future. No. All right? But who you truly are. So the article I just read again is by Randy Fine. and it's a female, and her website is RANDI, G as in George, fine, FINE.com. So between Randy Fine's article and then what I read at the beginning of the show, from me, it's signs that you're an empath. I authored that. That is again in my Psychic Medium Awakening and Development course. So you can find all my online courses on my website, www.whitesagewoman.com. So thank you so much, everyone. I know we went over just a little bit, but I hope this sheds some light onto empaths and empathic intuition. Maybe a little bit, again, know a little bit more about yourself. And you're okay. You're not weird. Oh, all right. So thank you for sitting in Sacred Circle with me. And this space has been very sacred and healing. It's very healing. So as we are learning and healing ourselves, again, we are healing the world. And remember to be that lighthouse. And let your love, divine love and light, shine through you. Be that conduit for the rest of the world. All right? And if you have any show topics you would like for me to ask the guides about, or to, hey, let's discuss this, please don't hesitate to notify me. You can email me, find me on my website, also social networks, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can find me all those places, and you can find all my social networks actually if you just go to my website, and the About Me page will show you. I do believe I have my social network links on there, the buttons. So again, thank you so very much. Just to recap real quick, the gemstone of the week, red goldstone, and the power animal, toad. Thank you all so very much. Many blessings to each and every one of you, and keep shining brightly.